Hi again. This is Alex with the next installment in this what seems to be a bit of a controversial conversation around contact improv dance and the whole arena of sexuality, sex, and intimacy. Um, okay, my apologies for the quality of this video, but it just seems to work. Uh, Quick and easy way to get the message out. So our upcoming event is on October 30th, so Sunday, October 30th. And in the meantime, Moti's coming to town and he's doing chemistry, no, yeah, chemistry meets physics, what it's called. Definitely an aligned weekend event in Toronto. Hope you can make it out to that. So I'm wanting to respond. There were recently some posts on my timeline relating to this whole topic. And one person, actually a friend of mine, I felt that he really didn't get where I'm coming from on all of what I'm working to do. And specifically, he made this one comment um, about using contact improv dance for sexual delight. And well, let me just say it's a lot more subtle than that. Um, First of all, I want to share my experience in contact improv. What is it for me? Because I think that's the best way to approach this. Um, when I come to a contact jam, which is where people gather to dance the form of contact improv, what is my experience there? And it really is similar to, I haven't gone out to a club to dance in quite a while, but let me first start with the club dancing and then share what it's like for me coming to a contact improv jam. When I've gone out to dance at a club, initially there's kind of like the settling in, just in a sense losing myself, like letting go of my thoughts about who's noticing me, what do people think of me, but just being free. There was this dance troupe, I think it may still be going, called DLNW, Dance Like Nobody's Watching. And so at this point of freedom that I get to going out to a club, I just lose myself, actually find myself in just my inner being and just free up to just let the expression happen. And my conscious experience is indeed it's actually that I'm feeling the connection that I have with everybody else in the room. Um, Letting go of that what appears to be a separation, here we are in these separate bodies, but really deep down there is this fundamental connection. There is this fundamental humanity, fundamental breath of life that each of us has, that creates us, that allows us to exist. And that's the place where I want to connect. And as a human being, sexuality and my sexual attractions, they're just part of who I am. They're not, they can, sexual attraction can be, okay, this friend who posted on my timeline again, he said something about, well, it can just really bring somebody into the physical realm and lose all the other aspects of who we are. And for sure it can do that. And he was talking about the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the connections that we can have at all levels. And so when I talk about conscious intimacy, and he said, if you want that, go to a tantric sex workshop. And, there's a grain of in there that's really significant, because what Tantra is all about is that element of consciousness, of connecting at a higher level. So there's this very kind of, definitely physical rooted part of ourselves. The sexual chakra is one way to look at that. Maslow, a humanistic psychologist in the 60s, he talked about the hierarchy of needs, and sex was kind of like level 2, I think it was, just above security, like maintaining, your staying alive. But going to higher levels, and the highest level for him was self-actualization. And what is your purpose? What is my purpose in being alive? What is self-actualization? What am I here for? And that's where, for me, the juice is. And where we can be as humans together, playing in this dance of life. There's this fundamental aspect of contact improv, which is the physicality of it, the physical connection. I mean, there's the biomechanics, the physics aspect, and the chemistry meets physics. That's the physics part of it. The way that the dance works, and it's awesome, and it's acrobatic, and it's energetic, and the exercise in it is very satisfying. And let me catch my thought here. There's also this aspect, like, I don't know if you know who Ashley Montague was. I met him many years ago, decades ago. He was a humanistic psychologist as well, and he wrote this book called Touching. And he wrote about how infants need touch. And of course, we all need that throughout our lives, to have that physical connection. And, well, some just don't find that for whatever reason. Like some families, they grow up, there's a lot of hugs going on. I know when I was in high school, this one teacher of mine, she said, "Alex, I don't know who's your girlfriend because you're always hugging all the girls." And, I guess that's carried through my life. I love to hug. And not just girls, where there's that extra element of that attraction that can be there, that isn't there with guys for me. But just an intimate hug can be so nourishing. And in fact, it promotes, again, I find, especially with women, but maybe this can happen for me even with guys who I'm not, attracted to in that way. But definitely with women that I'm attracted to, and having a long hug, there's this oxytocin that's generated. And it's a response in our body. And I think, in fact, that happens with a mother and child, a baby, in the arms of a mother. And there's this fulfillment that's there. And we need that throughout our lives. There was, again, she's passed away now, but a humanistic psychologist, Virginia Satir, that was one of my mentors. And she used to say, 8 hugs a day is minimum. Now, do I get that? Does that happen for me? No, not most days. But she said to just really, live this life you should have 10 hugs a day, and 12 is just awesome. So there is that aspect of the kinesthetic, of the the physicality of the dance of contact improv. There's this intimacy with oneself, and even just dancing on one's own in the solo dance, sorry, I'm just getting distracted. My phone is bleeping these messages because it just turned probably on the hour. Anyway, there's this just the opportunity within the dance to connect with oneself, dancing on one's own, being in, you could say, a meditative state, or a state of just aliveness, and then connecting with one another and honoring whatever the experience is between people, never imposing. So this whole element of sexuality, where there is attraction, there needs to be such a sensitivity to being able to dance together in a way where there's no imposition. Nobody's like foisting themselves upon another, and yet to honor whatever that experience is and whatever that energy is. And there's so much to be learned from that, and that's why the communication, verbal communication, to me is really important in what I do in Communicadance, that people can share about their experience, and if they're having just an amazing experience, they could share about that and have that known. And if they're having challenge or discomfort, that they can share about that and come to a common ground of understanding and have the dance that makes sense for each of us together. So I'm looking forward to our October 30th Communicadance, and I hope that you have found this little recording of some value to you and to your life experience. Wishing you a beautiful life.